Hello, it's another review with your pal Dark77777, and as always, I'll be leaving a link to the story in the description. Please like, subscribe, and please comment. Remember, this is my opinion, and my opinion matters. Ding! So, I will be doing another big O fanfiction because I still gotta finish those. By Galaxy 1... I butchered his name. Galaxy 1001D. It's called Our Little Girl Has Grown Up. And I was honestly hoping for a very Dorothy-centric story. Granted, it's not a bad story by any means, but I'll explain as we go along. As the story, so it continues on from the last story. If you remember that, go watch that video. In which our young crazy chick, Jenny Grant, tries to attempts and succeeds in kidnapping Roger Smith again. And so Dorothy, with the help of the buxom blonde bombshell, how's that for alliteration? Angel has to team up to stop her. Well, and save Roger. And I really kind of like the story. I mean, it's not the best, but I would honestly have to give it props for at least being probably the most like an actual episode of Big O, except with maybe Priceless being second, because you get a lot of questions, and you get some answers, and everything's like, what the fuck? What in God's name just happened? I don't understand anything because that's the whole point of the show. You know, you're supposed to walk in and say, what did I just watch? I didn't get any of that. I really like the idea of Angel being in the plot of Angel being in charge of the memory storage thing, repository of memories. That's what it's called. Because if you ever seen the show, 40 years ago, everyone's lost their memories, and some people want to get their memories back. And so in this fic, it's kind of told that, well, in this universe, Angel's in charge of making sure nobody finds out their memories. It's like, okay, I kind of expected that because she knew a little too much, so I kind of expected that to happen at the moment I heard repository of memories, the whole idea of that. She manages to rope Dorothy into showing her that, you know, Roger kind of told himself to get rid of his memories, which is actually a pretty good twist. It's like, oh, well, everyone wants to rot memory. So no, he took his memory. He wanted his memory to be erased. What? That's nice. That's very nice. And with Roger having to endure some weird treatment from Jenny Graham of her being cuckoo, despite the fact she said, "I'm not crazy. I took a test and everything." You're crazy. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. And of course, we get a badass moment of Dorothy. That is Mega Man level shit. I mean, outside of Roger being kidnapped, Dorothy and Angel kind of teaming up, and the repository of memories. It's kind of bare bones on the plot because from the looks of the synopsis of the next story in the series, it looks like all the stuff that was new stuff that was mentioned in this story is kind of setting up for the next story. So I'll get more into that, the more like the repository memories when I get to the next story, because they're going to go into more detail with that in that one from the looks of things. But in terms of the plot, Dorothy, Jenny seems to be working for someone. Dorothy kind of finds out what it means to actually be human. There's a plot point of the two other androids kind of working with Angel, and Datsun trying to figure out what the hell's going on. It's like, I'm being kept in the dark. And it's a really, really anime section. It feels a lot like the anime itself, which I have to give it props. It is, plot-wise, it's not the best, but it's supposed to be like the anime. So it's supposed to be like a return to form, which I appreciate. Character development. This story was all about Dorothy. It was all about Dorothy's development as a whole. Roger, he kind of stays static because, you know, for this kind of story, it kind of had to make sense because he was not the focus of the story. He was more like a peripheral character. But Dorothy Wainwright, she was the main focus of the character. This was all about her little adventure, her little Syphilis, what is it called? Rendezvous. I'm getting my words mixed up. I'm kind of in a hurry. I don't want my little family to throw a fit and come in and have to make me do this video over and over again. I'm tired of that. Sorry, I have a habit. I still go off tangents. So yeah, this story is all about Dorothy. So all the development's really going to be focused on her. We got some development from Angel, which was nice, and it really made sense in the context of the story and in the lore, and the universe it was established, which was nice. I could have been done something a little bit more with her, but what she's done, what the author's done with her right now, it's overall a good thumbs up in my book. But Dorothy, the one thing I gotta establish about Dorothy is that she's a robot. She's a very, very lifelike robot. She's a robot in the sense where a lot of people, even she herself, doesn't know whether or not she's truly an android or is she actually something of a human inside a robot shell. And so this story kind of explores that aspect where at the end she starts fighting people, but she doesn't hurt them aside from like some sandbags, air bullets, stuff sort of like that. But she meets Jenny Grant, sees that Roger is in like this machine, and picks her up and starts attacking her. And Jenny goes like, "But you're a machine," and she rattles off all the stuff that happened in the actual anime. Of first, she was kidnapped, she was taken apart, she was hit with a electromagnet, she was brainwashed, she was all this stuff, and she realized like I don't give two shits, and actually starts physically harming her, realizing that I can actually hurt and kill people if I wanted to, but I just don't want to. It's just I only really hurt her because Roger, you were in danger. And so we got this new level of character for her. It's like she's learning how to be more human. Now she's kind of doubting herself even more. How human is she? What separates the human aspects of personality and the behavior and her emotions to the robot? Where does it end? Where does it start? And I thought that was a really nice idea of developing that aspect of her that was already established in the anime and trying to wring a little bit more out of it in the fan fiction, which is really nice. Grammar, I believe I saw like one or two grammar errors like the first couple chapters. That's it. Again, this one's subjective. If you spot a grammar error, please let me know. I'm not a grammar Nazi. I'm not. Pacing and imagery. Pacing was very nice. It didn't drag. It didn't go by too fast. It didn't drag because it had to introduce these new things again, bringing up the repository of memories. That's going to be mentioned more in the next story. In terms of the pacing, I thought the pacing was a nice even level. It didn't go too fast. It didn't go too slow. Because honestly, this is one of those stories that had to keep a nice even pace, had to go through its motions, and hopefully did not rush. I was hoping, thank God, it didn't go too slow, because I think either if it went too slow or too fast, it would have dragged down the story, and actually would have really kind of lowered what I think of the story. Emotional investment. I'm just gonna get rid of the connection genre because I realize it's a waste of time. Emotional investment. I kind of got invested into Dorothy's character. I thought it was a nice direction where the author has taken her. I can't wait to see more with the two. There's 3 stories left. There's the 2 with Jason Beckgold, and then there's one with pursuing this mysterious guy named Roland Knight. I haven't read those 3 stories yet, so I don't know anything about that. So you'll have to wait until next videos. But I really got into how Dorothy behaved and how she grew in this story. I mean, Dorothy's kind of a complex character to get. You have to understand that she's a robot, but she and everyone else around her, they first interpret her as an actual human. there's actually a kind of a little running gag near the end of the story where like there's like Jenny's like sending all these soldiers like what? Why is she doing this? How is she able to do this? And then like at the end she's like, you can't be. You're an android. No, Roger picked you over me. No, no. They picked up and kind of turned into a paddleball. But it was good. It was nice to get into Dorothy for once, especially since, the anime didn't go that long. It went like 25, 26 episodes, so it's like we didn't get an actual episode centered around Dorothy in the actual anime, which I feel was kind of needed if you wanted to continue. We needed at least one episode with Dorothy. I was hoping it happened in the anime, but I'm happy with a fanfiction format. Would I recommend it? And favorite part? Favorite part, it would actually have to be Dorothy's little speech at the end. It's only like a little paragraph, but I think it kind of sums up her character growth throughout the movie without the fan fiction and everything up to in the anime up to this point. I already kind of mentioned it earlier, but you know what I mean. It's her telling I'm more than one human because it actually reminded me of Mega Man 7. If you never played Mega Man 7, at the end, Dr. Wily is like under a little bit of rubble, and he's like looking at Mega Man. And Mega Man's about to shoot him. He said, wait, Mega Man, you can't. You're direct. You're a robot. You cannot harm humans. And Mega Man goes, I am more than a robot. Which I thought reminded me of that, and I thought it was a nice moment. Now, would I recommend it? I actually would recommend it. It's a nice little story. It's not too. It's the right length. It's the right story. It's the right character development. It's everything. Nothing overly spectacular, but it's good enough that I can easily just put it in like the best of his stories, because literally Galaxy 1001D's he's the only one who actually made good Big O stories. It's either his or you get crap. So if you're a fan of that anime, just go read his stories. Pretty much the only ones that are actually good. But it was good enough that I can easily just put it in the recommend section. Nothing too big, nothing too complicated, but just a nice, calm story put it like a calm before the storm, because from the looks of things, the next two stories are going to be ramped up to 11, and I can't wait to get into that, especially since I love Jason Beck Gold, I loved Jason Beck, and we're probably going to get like a big battle and everything, and I can't wait for that story. So, that is my review. It has been, and I love this story, I love this anime, I just thought I'd put that out there. I will see you next time. This has been Dark 777, and cut.